Recording in progress. Okay. Welcome to our Backyard Brothers podcast. We are short a member today. Yancey had some competing priorities today that he had to take care of. We will miss him for sure, but we are we are managing the three blood brothers, if you can count it as that. uh, I would consider Yancey a blood brother, so I don't know, whatever. Um, But we're going to be talking about NBA and NFL today, as we've done for the past several weeks, starting with the Pacific Division of the NBA. Do we have anything before we jump into something? Any breaking news or anything anyone wants to talk about first? Otherwise, we could jump right in.
I don't think so.
Okay. Um, let's see if I remember how to do this. Share my screen, entire screen. This one, share. Okay. Are you seeing this screen?
Yes.
Okay. Um, Dustin, I don't remember who's up doing the two the first one first and all that. So uh, let's see. Do you want to do the Warriors or the Clippers? That's how we'll start.
I can do the Warriors.
Okay, go ahead.
So the Warriors had a decent season. Ended up seventh in the West. Obviously made the playoffs where they beat the Rockets in seven.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, Dustin, we lost you.
Sorry, I have alarms and Jedzia has sent me 1,000 texts, and so I'm just silencing everything.
Right.
So, the Warriors had a good season, seventh in the West, won the first round of Houston, lost in the semifinals to Minnesota, but ultimately very good numbers, 15th in offense and 7th in defense. The man that needs no introduction, Stephen Curry, there doing what he always does, 24-6, shooting great from three and fantastic from the line. And Draymond Green having another great season with his triple single. And then from the bench, Jimmy Butler, who joined halfway through the season, was a great spark plug there that helped, bringing in 18 points there. Fantastic player. Steve Kerr in his 11th season, one of the most successful coaches of NBA history, even just 11 seasons in, and coached a fantastic series against the Rockets in particular.
Yeah.
So some discussion. There's a lot of thoughts in the modern NBA of championship or bust. The Warriors have, had multiple championships in the last decade. I look at this season as a successful season. You made it to the playoffs. You made it even into the second round. Is that a fair thing to say that they had a successful season?
Based, I mean, it's kind of difficult to measure success versus not as much success in the NBA. Did they win a championship? No. If that's what you're saying is success, then a lot of teams are going to be disappointed. 29 of them, in fact. But I would say, especially relative to expectations, a lot of us said that the Warriors are done. They're never going to get back to this point again, and we were wrong. They did reach that point. They won a playoff series against on paper, a superior opponent, and then put up a fight at least in the first game against Minnesota. And so I would call it a successful season for the standards on which they're being evaluated right now. Yes.
I mean, I think it'd be a successful season. They made it into the playoffs, right? Didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah,
they won a playoff series.
So yeah, I think that would be a successful season, and that with his tenure there, um, I would say that he's probably earned a very long stay, as almost as long as he wants.
All right.
Okay,
Good on the Warriors.
Los Angeles Clippers finished 50-32, good for second in the Pacific. But they ended up losing the first round to Denver in 7 games. A really fun series that went back and forth and back and forth. They finished third in defense. They were a really good defensive team, and that wasn't exactly expected. Everyone thought that they were going to be a pretty good offensive team. Obviously, when you have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, who we'll see, or Paul George was traded at some point during the season, wasn't he? Or is he over here? Paul George wasn't there. So anyway, when you have Kawhi Leonard, who you'll see in just a second, uh, and James Harden, you thought you're going to have a really good offensive team. Instead, this was a very good defensive team, especially Ivica Zubac down in the middle. 17 points, 13 rebounds, a block a game. James Harden was good. He's never going to be the Rockets' James Harden again. But Norman Powell was also very good. Really good shooter from three. Um, just some pretty good players over there. And then you see Kawhi Leonard there. He didn't play and start enough games to be in the top 5 starters. That's why he's listed on the bench, but he's a starter. Obviously, you see 21.5 points per game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 41% from three. He was fantastic when he did play. He's just always injured, it seems. And um, Yeah, this was a really good 3 point shooting team. A lot of really good 3 point shooters. Amir Coffey, Nicholas Batum, Bogdan Bogdanovic, going back over here, Norman Powell as well. Really good 3 point shooting team. Tyronn Lue, he did win a championship with Cleveland in 2016, but with LA, he's had a couple of playoff runs that have ended short of a Western Conference Finals appearance. So, uh, discussion. Um, what is it that it's a difficult question because I kind of think with Kawhi Leonard guaranteed to only play 50 or 60 games a year, uh, you have to make sure you have someone, and it can't be someone like Chris Dunn who comes in averaging 6 points a game, or you're not going to get the production you need. And so, do you have to really manage the bench when you have Kawhi as your as a player? And how do the Clippers do that? Because when he's on the court, he's great. It's just a problem that he's never on the court.
It's answering the question almost favors Kawhi Leonard's strategy, which is if you can get the Clippers to the playoffs and then get Kawhi Leonard be able to healthy and playing throughout the playoffs, there's nobody that can rule the Clippers out. I mean, we've proved that multiple times, and so it's almost hard to disagree with that. I'm totally fine with him only playing 40 or 50 games. And so as long as you get to the playoffs. But depth is definitely important. And they had a good team this year. And met just a really good Nuggets team. And so I'm not sure how to answer the question other than say, what's wrong with that?
Sure.
So
And I understand that. I mean, Kawhi had a throwback game. Was it game two, maybe, of the finals, where he had like almost 50 points in that game, and single handedly won that one game for the Nuggets. It's just he is so good, but and like you said, they ran into just a really good Nuggets team, and sometimes that happens. But it's still difficult to evaluate a team where your starter, where your best player plays only 40, 50, 55 games. So,
Yeah, I mean, sorry,
go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say he was injured. Is that why he's not in the starting lineup, or
Correct.
are they
Yeah.
not benching him? What's going on here?
No, he was injured.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Cody. So
Um,
he gets injured every year, and that's why we say he's good for about 50 games a year at most. Is that he just has constant injuries. No, nobody's fault. It just happens that way.
and then my second point, really quick, is I don't know why, but the name Ben Simmons sounds really, really familiar to me. Is he really good? He sucks now, or what? What's going on there? Because that
We
3 points per game is terrible.
Yeah, we could do a whole podcast about Ben Simmons. In fact, I think we have before. But uh, Ben Simmons was the first overall pick back in 20. What was it, Dustin? 2016, 15, something like that.
Yeah, 20, probably 16 or 17. I think 16. 2016, he was the first overall pick.
And he's a 6'10" point guard, and so there's not a whole lot of guys that can match up to him. He was considered the next Magic Johnson, and the fact is that he never developed a shot. He could never shoot anything beyond about 6 feet. He's never made a 3-pointer in his career because he can't make them. He's a horrible free throw shooter. He completely choked in the playoffs after leading the 76ers in a lot of great seasons. He had 2 or 3 really great seasons that he was looking like a future MVP, Hall of Famer kind of guy. And then just he lost complete confidence and lost, and teams were able to understand how to defend him because he couldn't shoot. He could only drive and dish, and so they made him that kind of player to make him spot up and shoot, or send him to the free throw line where he couldn't do either one. And so he petered out completely and is now riding the bench, scoring 3 points a game. He is one of the calling cards of a complete first pick bust.
So what value does he add at this point? Why is he even on a roster anymore?
Because of what he could potentially offer. He is still a 6'10" point guard that can pass the ball extremely well.
Yeah, and to go to the other thing, so he's a huge bust, but the 76ers paid him $40 million a year for a huge contract, over like 6 years, $40 million for 6 years or something like that. And he basically, over those next, we're near the end of that 6th season, so he's probably the 3rd highest paid player on the Clippers. And is probably 30th highest paid player in the NBA. Because his agent got him a fantastic contract, and then he has been a complete bust ever since.
That's the story of Ben Simmons, and we could talk all day about him, but we have more to do. So, Dustin, take Lakers.
All right, the Los Angeles Lakers. Sorry to say this is Daxton's favorite team.
Of course.
So they ended up 3rd in the West, 50-32. Great record. Middle of the pack numbers, 12th in offense, 15th in defense. Ended up losing in the first round in Minnesota, though. You of course have the GOAT there, LeBron James. This is you can say he's really going downhill. This is the first season in 21 years in which he averaged less than 25 points per game. So he couldn't be 20 years and just really fell off, only getting 24.4, almost 8 rebounds, 8 assists per game. So say it's really going downhill for that 40-year-old man there. But the biggest news is Luka Doncic coming over midseason. What a fantastic addition! What a fantastic player, a generational player. But then Austin Reeves, AR-15, he's a fantastic player as well. Has really exploded the last couple seasons. On the bench, Dalton Connect is one of those sleeper guys that could be fantastic. But as you can see from the bench, there's like the highest bench points is Dorian Finney-Smith. No, Connect with 9, but then Finney-Smith with 8. They just don't have a lot of production from the bench. They get it from their starters, and that's about it.
And good old Bronny, LeBron's kid, on the bench there.
Yeah, LeBron James Jr. So, yeah. JJ Redick was the coach this season. Fantastic player. Younger than, I think he's the same age as LeBron, maybe even a year younger. A great season, but ended up getting the gentleman's sweep in the playoffs there. So discussion on the Lakers. I'm not really sure what question to ask. I think that it's unlimited potential with Luka Doncic. We don't know how many more years LeBron is going to play, but we can expect him to continue to be a 20-point scorer. And then the Lakers are set up for the future with Luka there. And so once again, the Buss family and Magic Johnson and all of the players there at the Lakers front office have done a great job at keeping this team relevant despite aging superstars. Yeah, I guess I'll open it up for some questions or any other thoughts.
Yeah, I heard somewhere, and I don't know if I read it or heard it, but LeBron is going to play one more year and then he might be done. Is what I've heard. I don't know how accurate that is, but he's definitely said that he's coming to play one more year. As far as I've heard, again, that could even be wrong, but that's what I've heard. It wants to play one more year with Luka, and like you said, having LeBron and Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, this team could be set up for sending LeBron off to ride in the sunset, with a title.
Yeah.
So. Cody, anything on the Lakers?
Nothing intelligent.
Okay. Moving on to the Phoenix Suns. They were a colossal disappointment, finishing with 36 wins and last in the Pacific Conference, and finishing outside of any postseason action. So, and they're a colossal disappointment because of the big three that they had on their team. You see Devin Booker with 25.6, Kevin Durant with 26.6 points, Bradley Beal 17 points. Those big three should have led this team to a big playoff appearance, and instead all three of those guys and nothing in the postseason at all. So just a colossal disappointment, and it's because James Jones, the general manager, and we've mentioned this before on this podcast, has those three guys and literally nobody else. Ryan Dunn, Tyus Jones, you see, and you see a couple of guys you might see. Grayson Allen is a good 3-point shooter. He led the league in 3-point shooting last year, so he's a good player off the bench. But really, you don't have anybody else that can go get points for you. And so you have three guys that are all-stars that are, two of them, one of them for sure is on the road to the Hall of Fame. One of them could be there pretty soon too, but literally nothing else behind them. Mike Budenholzer was the coach, and he was a one and done in Phoenix. He's not there anymore because finishing outside the playoffs with a team like that. So discussion on the Suns is going to be the same as it was back in the season when we talked about them, is how colossal of a disappointment is this, especially when you have both Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal moving on. Neither one of them are there now. Durant is now playing for the Rockets. I don't remember where Beal is, but he's not there anymore either. So, yeah, Suns are rebuilding now.
Yeah, I think to kind of reiterate in my own words, you take a generational player like Kevin Durant, a 7 foot shooting guard, right? And then copy paste, shrink a little bit, copy paste, shrink a little bit, right? That's who you have. You have 3 Kevin Durant prototypes. That's not a and I think it really speaks to the necessity for diversity on an NBA team, or really with any sports team. Um, is that you need players that have a whole bunch of different skills in order to do great things. And here you had just three of the same prototype. Like you said, they're great players. Kevin Durant is one of the best players of this generation. Top 5 best player of the 2010s. In the 2020s. Perhaps top 20 player to ever play the game. But you can't get 3 of them and expect to do something like that. It just doesn't. That's not how it works.
Cody, anything on the Suns?
I mean, I like the way you explained that, Dustin. I compare it to football. If you expect to win a game by having 6 running backs on the field, I don't think you're really going to do a whole lot. I mean, I don't know. It just maybe that's not a very good comparison, but that's the
No,
way I
I
understood it, and
think
it
that
makes sense to
works. Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it just doesn't make sense. So
Okay, last one in the Pacific Division, Dustin.
All right. So the Kings, 40-42. 7th in offense, though, but as you can see, 23rd in defense. They struggled defensively this season. So they had an overhaul this past season and brought over a lot of players. DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine are conjoined twins. They just can't get rid of each other.
Right.
They've been together throughout their entire career on multiple different teams. But great players, just not making a splash in the wins column. But I do want to call out Domantas Sabonis, one of the greatest rebounders of this generation. Fantastic player, and son of the greatest Sabonis.
Yeah. Yeah, and then obviously they traded away De'Aaron Fox as part of that Zach LaVine deal that brought LaVine over, sent Fox out, and that elevated Malik Monk into the starting lineup, and he played fairly well. 17 points, 6 assists per game. That's a pretty good production out of the guy that was a 6th Man of the Year candidate last year, now starting at point guard.
Yeah. So on the bench, Jonas, it's a good player. He's a good backup there guy, but not many other names you can call out. Nobody else bringing points here. We had Markelle Fultz, who was another bust, 1st overall pick, I think, in 2019, right. And now is averaging 2.9 points per game as a backup player on the Kings. 1st overall pick.
Yep.
Doug Christie, the interim head coach here. I forget who he took over for. Who is it?
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown. But Doug Christie played for the Kings for a long time, and is now in his 1st season as the head coach.
Yeah, and he was named officially the head coach, wasn't he? Or
I think so.
Yeah.
And his son plays in the league. I forget what team.
Max.
Yeah, Max. Anyway, discussion on the Kings. This is a team that is occasionally poked into the playoff contention, then kind of came back out like a turtle, and just can't seem to find the way to have sustained success. They've had different lineups of even different superstars, but are struggling to maintain success. And it's in some ways it's kind of the curse of being a smaller market, that you can get some, but can't get everything you need in order to win.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
I don't really have a whole lot to add about the Kings. I think you said it just about perfect. I really enjoy watching the Kings. I cheer for them. I'd like them to do better, and it seems like they traded away a lot of their present to try to improve their situation in the future. I'm not sure it will really work in the stacked Western Conference.
I think that first off, I'm just happy to see Mike Monk in the starting lineup. Long time coming for him. I also find it really interesting how consistent, and I would say consistent, that this team, the starting lineup, shooting points is. I mean, four of them are all within, what is that, 5 points of each other per game, and then A. Murray's making 12 to 13 a game as well, which is not terrible. So that just tells me that they were a pretty good offensive team, and I assume that's right. I didn't see what their offensive rank was, but I assume just from seeing that they're at least very consistent, if not just really good.
Yeah,
Seventh in offense. Yeah.
Top 10. Okay. Let's exit out of that one so I can see you guys again. I'm gonna
Yeah, and close the stream. Yeah.
stop stream there for a second. So, any last thoughts about the NBA?
It's a very interesting division with the Warriors, Lakers, and Clippers, all fighting there within the division. It's always been a fun one there.
Yeah. Okay, in just a minute,
All
I will
right.
have this other one up. Because I wanted to not have them both up at the same time in case that caused some problems. So, share. Do you see my screen?
It's loading.
It
Yeah.
should be loading right now. But,
Yes.
okay, I stopped here because we forgot to do this last week. Or the last time we met at least. I had mine in there, but I forgot to ask you for yours. And so we'll get Yancey's next week. But Cody and Dustin, we need to get your predictions for the AFC North.
I'll go first. I'll put Ravens first.
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna follow your lead there and put Steelers too, and probably even have the same exact copy as you.
Okay. Cody, any difference here?
I think my only difference is switch the Bengals and Steelers.
I figured that might be the case for somebody. Yeah. I struggled and I went back and forth with that one. So. Okay. And we will get Yancey's the next time we meet on this one. Okay. With that in mind, let's move to the Chicago Bears. And if I could remember who I assigned this to, I would let you know. I think I assigned it to Dustin because, yeah. So Dustin, you get the Bears.
All right, Chicago. Did not have a good season. 5-12. First overall pick, Caleb Williams struggled. We'll talk more about that later. But overall, 28th in points per game is not good. And yeah, all right, let's move on.
And let me say one thing: the Bears started the season 4-1. They finished the season 1-11. So they started out really good and then completely crumbled.
Lots of players there. Keenan Allen being one of the big ones that I'd call out. Can go on. For key additions, Joe Tooney, Devin Duvernay, and then a backup quarterback, Case Keenum. Those are some good ones. Grady Jarrett, how did I miss him? He's fantastic lineman. In the draft, they took a tight end, Colston Loveland, as their first pick. Luther Burden as a wide receiver. See what we can expect out of him. Nothing else to add.
Yeah, their first three picks, they're building around Caleb Williams, two targets and a guy to help on the offensive line. So obviously trying to build around Caleb Williams.
Ben Johnson. Let's see. That is this his first season or was his last season his first season?
This is the preview, so this is his first season.
Okay, it's a brand new head coach coming in, and you got Dennis Allen there as the defense coordinator coming from the Saints. For offense, you obviously have Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift in the back, and then DJ Moore out on the side, and Rome Odunze there. It's a lot of strong weapons here on the offense. It's just more about Caleb Williams being able to make the decision to throw it before he gets sacked. I think he's like one of the most sacked quarterbacks in NFL history over the course of a season. And so he's got to be able to just trust his arm, trust the play, and let it fly. On defense, Grady Jarrett there, and Montez Sweat is also a great one. Jermaine Edwards, great. So they have a decent defense, but that secondary looks kind of weak there. So that could be a struggle there. But they have a decent front six.
I do have a really great combo in their secondary with Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson. Those are both really good corners. Jalen, what was that?
Yeah, no, I was going to agree with you, Cody, that I like Jaquan Brisker too at safety. I actually like their secondary. I'm not sure. I'm not sure up front if they're strong enough up front. But their back seven, their back six, however many that is, down in the, I actually like. But we'll see.
I'll lean to the experts there. So they open up with Monday Night Football. The strong season opener there against Minnesota, and that happened to actually play on Monday night twice. It's then they have a very early bye, which that makes for a very tough, second stretch of the season.
And this is kind of a tough season.
It is.
What, Cody?
I just said it's crazy. It's week 5 on a bye. I've never even seen anything before week 6 as a bye. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's really early. I think they have a tough schedule, and it's just also because of the division they play in. You have to play the Lions and the Packers and the Vikings twice each. Those are 6 tough games, right there. And then you also you have San Francisco in there. You have Philadelphia in there, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. This is a tough schedule.
Yeah, look at their last 6 games: Philly, Green Bay twice, San Francisco, Detroit.
Yeah, I don't envy their schedule. That's for sure.
So discussion. So for the sake of making this, not all about Caleb Williams, what can we expect on the strategy from Ben Johnson? What should we expect going in order to make this a team that's more successful at scoring points and more successful at stopping opponents?
We go back to their offensive lineup as we talk about that. So go ahead, Cody. You go first.
I'll make it pretty quick. I think you need to take pressure off Caleb Williams. I think that's what he needs to do. Caleb is, I think he's still kind of in the mindset of hero ball. That's kind of his personality, it seems. I think he'll grow out of it eventually. He'll mature. I did hear from Keenan Allen that one reason he wanted to leave the team was because he was that way. So I think I think if you're Ben Johnson, you've got to utilize different plays where Romo Dinze, DeAndre Swift, Colson Leveland, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet are doing some more, maybe I don't want to say trick plays, but starting from behind the line more often with the ball, taking the pressure off of Caleb Williams, throwing it deep more often. I think that's what I would focus on if I were him.
You know they're going to have trick plays because in Detroit they loved running those trick plays. Ben Johnson loves them, and so they're going to have them. But really, I think what Detroit did the best when Ben Johnson was there was being really physical up front. And you can see they've completely changed over their entire interior of the offensive line and brought over Joe Tooney, who is one of the best offensive guards in football. Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman. They're trying to create a really stout, heavy offensive line, and I think they want to run the ball. Ben, you think a lot about the Lions that Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown that he had, but he wants to run the ball. He wanted to run the ball in Detroit. I think he wants to run the ball here in Chicago, and that also contributes to Cody's point of taking the pressure off of Caleb Williams there.
Yeah, good comments. I think that's great. I also would add, designing pass plays that the ball is gone in 2 seconds. And if he's holding it at 2.5, it's because he's going to throw it away at 3. It's you got to design plays that don't allow for sacks to happen.
Yeah. Okay, Cody, I had you with the Lions.
Hey, so Lions had an exceptional season last year, 15-2. That I mean, yeah, just exceptional. 2023, that was 2024 record. So I just noticed that.
Sorry.
15-2, first in the NFC North. I think everyone can agree it's exciting to see the Lions playing well. They did lose a divisional round to Washington in kind of a surprise game. Great game by Washington, but they were first, as you can see, in points per game on offense, 7th on defense in points per game. So they were just a really solid team. As far as rushing, their defense wasn't the greatest there. So that's probably got to be their focus in the off. Hopefully, was the focus in the offseason. Great completion percentage from Jared Goff as well. Key losses, Zadarius Smith, I would say, is a pretty big one. Allen Robinson's a good receiver. Carlton Davis, obviously. Some good losses there, big losses. Their additions, DJ Reed, that's a pretty big addition. He's a great corner. So that's a really good one for them.
You can see those
Rocky
first
Sin.
3 are all corners. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they're trying to tighten up the edges there, and then Ronnie Bell just to kind of help out a little bit there. The draft. Let's see here. Who do I want to focus on? Well, their first pick was, what is that? Tyleek. Looks like Tyleek Williams, defensive tackle, trying to keep that defensive line strong. Other than that, a lot of these names I don't really recognize. So I know they're good. They're good players, but nothing that stuck out to me in college.
Tate Ratledge. Go ahead, Dustin.
I saw the graphic about Tate Ratledge that said, something has happened in America in the last couple 100 years to allow a specimen like him to exist. Europe just can't produce people that look like that.
Yeah, he's going to start from day one. He'll be the starting right guard, taking over for Kevin Zeitler, and so he's probably the biggest addition, even though he's in the second round. Tyleek Williams will start as well, but in the defensive tackle spot, trying to help Aiden Hutchinson a little bit. I think those first three are guys that are going to play immediately. Isaac Tesla will play a little bit at that wide receiver spot too. The rest of it are probably development projects.
Good deal. We all know and love Dan Campbell. Great coach. Just a great person. Um, and now they got John Morton for offensive coordinator, Calvin Shepard from defensive coordinator. I'm pretty sure they were both just promoted from within.
Right. Yeah.
So they're not well known names yet. So we'll see how they do here. But the expectation is that under Dan Campbell, they'll probably continue to do well. Here's what the offense looks like. Jared Goff, of course, they got the dual running back game with Jameer and David. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams with the deadly combo with Sam Laporte as well. It's a really good receiving core. They just got a really powerful offense. And that offensive line should continue to do pretty well. So it's a scary offense if they can get things going. And then their defense, obviously Aiden Hutchinson, he was out on injury, I think most of last year. So that they're glad to have him come back. The court, yeah, we already said they're going to be adding Tyleek Williams up there. Josh Pascal's good. Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, phenomenal. Almost said running backs, linebackers, both of them, and then their secondary has gotten beefed up a little bit here. So they're kind of looking at more of the depth side of things as they had a lot of injuries last year.
Yeah, their corners really struggled, but they have probably the best safety duo in football. Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph led the NFL in interceptions. He had 9 last year. Led the NFL. Um, so really good safeties, but not great corners.
And Brian Branch has been really fun to watch. For some, I don't know what it is, but he always has this green thing just sticking on his helmet. I don't know if any of those else has noticed that. Just
Oh,
sticking on his helmet.
I haven't noticed
You
that.
should look for it. It's hard to miss, but so their schedule. Again, they're playing. Vikings twice, Packers twice. If the Bears are going to become good teams, they'll be playing them twice as well. Of course, they've got a lot of prime time because everyone wants to watch the Lions right now. Um, but as far as their schedule goes, just a quick look at it. They got Kansas City, they got Baltimore, they got Tampa Bay and Washington again. So they've got a fairly tough schedule. Maybe not as bad as Chicago, but it's not a cakewalk by any means.
Yeah, and they played both on Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. So holiday Lions.
They're looking to get that holiday pay. Just kidding. Um, so discussion. Oh man, there's so much to talk about here. Let's just focus on the defense here. I mean, the offense was the highlight reel last year, right? I mean, that's what propelled them really far. But I think the defense is kind of what, and I could be wrong here, but the defense is kind of what lost them the game. I think against Washington. It was just hard to stop, especially the cornerback. So, I guess my question is, with the boosting of the secondary, adding DJ Reed, Avante Maddox, and you're just kind of looking for that depth there. Is this going to be a significantly improved defense? Is this going to be good underneath a new defensive coordinator? I guess, generally speaking, what can we expect?
I think it's going to be a significantly improved secondary. Uh, with DJ Reed over there, as long as Terry and Arnold improves, he had his rookie mistakes last year. He also had some moments where he looked good, but as long as he improves, I think it'll be a significantly improved secondary. Uh, the defensive line, even with Tyleek Williams, he's not much of a pass rusher. He's more of a run stopper. And so I still see Aiden Hutchinson as being the only true pass rusher on the Lions. And that's a problem, especially like it happened last year. He got hurt. And then they didn't have anybody, and they had to go get Zadarius Smith off the streets to help. And so that's a problem when you only have one legitimate pass rusher on your team. And so that's what I worry about is if you just give the quarterbacks all day to throw, if you just triple team Aiden Hutchinson, it may not matter how good your secondary is.
I think that the Lions as a whole team in this defense has heard the criticism, and I expect them to stand up to it pretty well and put on a show.
Yeah.
Whether or not this team wins 15 again, I'm not sure, but I think they'll win at least 12.
I would think so too. Okay, this was Yancey's team, so I'll take it. Uh, the Green Bay Packers, 11-6 last year, went to the wild card, lost to Philadelphia, 22-10. Really good on offense, eighth in points, fifth in yards, also top 10 on defense, sixth and fifth. So pretty balanced team. Losses: center Josh Myers, linebacker Eric Wilson. Additions: they get Aaron Banks from San Francisco to beef up their offensive line. Nate Hobbs, corner from the Raiders, um, and McCole Hardman, Trey Hill. So some additions there. Packers are not usually big players in free agency, but the last couple of years they've dipped and got some important players. In the draft, they finally took a receiver in the first round. We've talked about it for years. It seems like when will they finally help Aaron Rodgers? Well, they did once Aaron Rodgers was gone. So, um,
I actually saw it was the first time they drafted a receiver in I think 20. It was like close to 20 years or something like that in the first round.
yeah, and they actually took two of them in the first three rounds. Matthew Golden out of Texas, who is that huge star that helped win that bowl game against that playoff game against Arizona State. He was just fantastic in that game and all season. But and then Savion Williams out of TCU. You can't see it with this picture there, but the guy is huge. He's about 6'5" and runs about a 4.3 40, and so he's going to be really impactful as well. So two receivers to help out.
Maybe Jordan just had a good, honest conversation with management. Maybe Aaron Rodgers should have done that.
Oh, well, don't know about that. What happened there? That's funny. Matt LaFleur in his seventh season coming up here. He is he has proven to be a great coach. He has got the best out of Aaron Rodgers. He won two MVPs. He helped Aaron Rodgers win two MVPs. He's got the best out of Jordan Love. The guy has proven to be a really good quarterback whisperer to help this offense out. And Jeff Halfley really did well coming in to make that defense ranked top 10 and everything. Offense. You have Matthew Golden there to help out the receiving core that includes Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs. Josh Jacobs in the backfield was one of the big free agent additions they made last year. And Aaron Banks and Trey Hill coming in on the offensive line. Um, that's pretty good offense there. Defensively, Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary up front. The middle of that defense, Quay Walker, the two rookies from last year, Edgerrin Cooper and Tyron Hopper. And in the secondary, you kind of have a no-name secondary except for Xavier McKinney, who was fantastic last year. One of those other veteran pickups in free agency last year. But Nate Hobbs coming in, one of the best slot corners in the NFL, will be playing on that team. You can see they have a Thursday night football game that second week against the Commanders. They have another Sunday night football game against the Cowboys uh, later on that Thanksgiving Day game. They have a little bit easier schedule. They get to draw both the Cardinals and the Panthers and the Giants. And so a little bit easier of a schedule there, and the Browns, not to mention. So, but they still have to face Baltimore and Detroit twice and Minnesota twice, and so Philadelphia. So yeah, discussion on the Packers is um, it seems like the Packers have been right outside of where the Lions are. You know, they're not good enough to beat the Lions for the division, so they have to win on the road in the playoffs. Are they a legitimate threat to to make a playoff run? Is that who the Packers are, or are they just going to be that second tier of the NFC?
I can answer that first. Um, I think that in a way, yes. If you get to the playoffs, sure, you have a chance. I think about the Bengals. I think in 21, I would not have given them a chance to make it to the Super Bowl, and they did. And so I would put them in that same category. That they absolutely have the right skill set that they can tear through the playoffs as if luck and everything else kind of falls their way. Um, and so they're a good enough team, but they're also one of those that we would expect to have a first or second round exit every season. Very good, but not good enough to be the favorites.
I think similar to Dustin's thought. I think that I mean I don't agree that they have Super Bowl ability right now. But I do think that they have the ability to play spoiler to teams that do. And so that's kind of where I see the similarity. You know, I could see them going to the playoffs and beating a team like Detroit or Philadelphia, and then losing the next game. You see, and so I don't think they'll make it to the Super Bowl. Do they have the potential to do that in future seasons? Of course, but I think that no matter what, it is a dangerous team, and that it doesn't matter who you are, you need to prepare for them, or they can and probably will beat you.
Okay. And then my official team that I'll cover here, the Minnesota Vikings. They were one of the surprises of last year, especially Sam Darnold. Uh, just for most of the season, becoming a completely different player, a star quarterback, MVP conversation for a lot of the season, leading this team to a 14-3 record, and then completely falling apart in the last 2 weeks of the season. The last game of the season against the Lions, and then the playoff game against the Rams, which they lost, which is not on there for some reason. I forgot about that one. So, yeah, so that's one of the reasons Sam Darnold wasn't paid to remain on the team anymore. And you see that here. Sam Darnold is included in the key losses, along with a lot of other guys. Garrett Bradbury, Stephon Gilmore, Cam Akers, Dalton Reisner, Shaquille Griffin, Jonathan Bullard. Just a lot of guys are gone. Because of that, a lot of guys are in. You get two defensive ends, Jonathan Allen from the Commanders, Javon Hargrave from the 49ers, a couple of guys up front, both from the Colts, Ryan Kelly and Will Freeze will both start. I don't know if that's Fries or Freeze, but um, and then
I like
backup
to think it's
quarterback and what, Cody?
so I like to think that it's fries.
Okay, yeah, and it very well may be. And then Sam Howell, the backup quarterback, coming in, essentially trading places with Sam Darnold. So I think they in fact traded places. So Jeff Okuda coming in as well at corner. NFL draft, they only had 5 picks. And with one of those picks, they took Donovan Jackson, the guard out of Ohio State, who will start from day one. The other guys are probably all development. Kevin O'Connell has done a lot to make him seem like one of the best coaches in the NFL. What he was able to do with Kirk Cousins to get the best season out of him a couple years ago, turning that team into a really legitimate playoff team, and then what he did with Sam Darnold. You can say that yeah, Sam Darnold may have had that all along inside him, but Kevin O'Connell was the one that could bring that out. The question is, can he do that again this year with the quarterback that they have? That's basically a redshirt rookie. Brian Flores has a defense that is terrorizing every other offense. It's like a defense that no one can figure out. It's not a single scheme. Like they blitz more than anybody in the league, but at the same time, that there's some games where they don't blitz at all and they just rush four, and so it's really hard to read what they're going to do. And Brian Flores is just an excellent defensive mind. So this offense, obviously, right there in the middle is what we're going to talk about all season, and probably my discussion question. JJ McCarthy, is he the kind of quarterback that can take a team that went 14-3 last year? Remember, this is a really good team last year that still has a lot of the same pieces. Aaron Jones at running back, the best wide receiver in football, and Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison over there, T.J. Hawkinson, a really good offensive line. Christian Darrisaw, Brian O'Neill are excellent tackles, bringing in three guys in the interior, one of them a rookie. But this was a really good offense, and so I'll get there in a second. Defensively, Andrew Van Ginkel caused a lot of problems last year. Dallas Turner coming off the other edge. The problem might be the secondary. You don't really have a corner there. This is probably one of the worst cornerback groups in football. Byron Murphy and Jeff Okuda, not the group you want to play your cornerbacks. But Harrison Smith and Josh Metellus are both really good safeties, and you got good defensive ends up there too. So a lot of havoc is created by Brian Flores' defense. A lot of primetime stuff for Minnesota because of where they finished last year, as well as three games actually overseas. One in Ireland, one in England, one in Chile. So they play away from the country almost half as often as they play at home. So uh, Christmas Day game against the Lions. So I know I moved through that pretty fast, but I'm aware of the time as well. But my discussion question, as I previewed here, is all about JJ McCarthy and this team that went 14-3 that still has a lot of the key pieces. How many games do you expect them to drop off from 14 wins, realistically, with a redshirt rookie quarterback, uh, knowing that they have a really good head coach that can get the most out of his guy? Is this still a really good football team that can win double digit games, or was that just a luck of the Darnold last year? Like, what's going on?
So I'll go first. I think that I mean they will drop off. That's my first. My first thought is I don't they're not going to win 14 again. I don't think so. But with the team that they have and the coaches they have, I would say between 9 and 11 wins is probably realistic in my opinion, which may be being generous. But my reason to back that up is if we think back to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, his rookie year, he got injured and he wasn't able to play, and he sat out pretty much the whole season. And a lot of people, including us, had talked about the next season that being injured may have been the best thing that happened to his career. That had given him that time to sit and watch rather than being thrown into everything. And we see what Joe Burrow's become now. So I'm not saying it will be exactly like that, but it definitely gives that glimmer of hope with that same idea that this could have been the best thing that could have happened to JJ McCarthy, and we'll see. Now we could also see him just be terrible, fall apart, but I'd like to think that it's going to be the other way.
I like your comments. I think that's a really good analogy with Joe Burrow, because I'm struggling to see that. I want to cut their wins in half and say they're in the 7-9 range. But because you're looking at this offense, it feels like it all falls on JJ McCarthy. That he is the piece because they have so many great weapons. Best wide receiver in football, but then also one of the best tight ends, and then Jordan Addison's fantastic. Like, you got fantastic weapons, and it all falls on McCarthy to get it to them without throwing picks, taking sacks, or having fumbles. And that's a really hard thing for a rookie who hasn't seen NFL defenses in full force yet. And so that's why I'm gonna give that expectation there of a pretty strong drop off, is that there's too much pressure on McCarthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see it going either way. I think that Kevin O'Connell is going to try to rely on Aaron Jones a little bit and get that ball out to Justin Jefferson quickly. Try to make some plays there. I agree with Cody that there is going to be a drop off, but I see this team finishing above 500 still. I think this is still a good team, especially because of their defense. But there's going to be a drop off. So, with that in mind, let's move to this. Oh, and I didn't grab. Um, so, first of all, let's just do it a different way. I'm going to grab this logo. I am picking the Lions to finish first. Are you both doing that as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to take the Packers because I have them right here. I guess I had the Vikings too. But, oh well. For me, the Packers are finishing right behind the Lions, second. Where are you guys going with the Packers?
I think that too. They're second.
Cody?
I third that.
Okay. I feel like we're going to have the same thing down across the board, maybe. I'm going in my order, apparently, or maybe our order. But I'm taking the Vikings to finish third. But I think this is a division that could put three teams in the playoffs, depending on what other divisions do in the NFC. Are you both putting Minnesota third, or was one of you putting Minnesota fourth?
I'm gonna put Minnesota fourth, which is crazy regarding what I just said about them. So
Dustin, where are you putting them?
Yeah, I'm saying that they're going to win 7 or 8 games, and and the Bears last year won what 5 or 6, and so for them to improve by that equal amount, yeah, I'm not sure. I think that I will put the Vikings third, but it's going to be close with the Bears.
That leaves and filling in the missing hole. Big. And we'll get Yancey's prediction next week or next week. So that's how we're picking this division right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop share. So, okay. So we can see you guys one more time. And next week, we'll cover the AFC South and we'll cover college football all in one 30-minute span. It won't be like we did last year. I won't be doing slides for college football as much as I would like to. I just don't have the time to do that. So we'll do we'll still share screens and we'll still do all that kind of stuff. But college football preview and NFC or AFC South preview. So
and we
sound
will
good?
have had I was saying we will have had just a little bit of college football
Just a little bit, yeah.
by that point, just 2 or 3 games or something. But
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for having good discussions. And have a good night.
All right.